lucky. I got one run, and then I went into long snap, and it was nobody's fault but a bit of an accident. So I'm here as cheerleader.
And on top of that, your other running mate in Toa, she's unfortunately gone down with a bit of a tear herself.
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't know the extent of Toa's injury just yet, but hopefully we're all crossing our fingers for good things for her. She's a sweetheart, so we really don't want her to be hurt, any long-term injuries or anything like that. Hopefully it's just a couple of weeks or something.
Well, I know yours is a little longer than a couple of weeks. What has officially been done to you?
I tore my Achilles, or severed my Achilles.
Oh, that's no good to hear. Well, obviously, you guys were two focal points of your Coyote offense, and now the coaches, they've probably been up all night figuring out different things they can do with different players. What's the morale of the club right now, your players, your offense in particular?
I was wondering that because we spent all night at the hospital, obviously, and we came in today and the girls are in really good spirits, so can you get out? Basically, yeah, the girls are really happy and really excited. I think a lot of rookies on the team means that some of them are just here to play football and they don't care how. They just want to play and get the experience and go for it and so show what they got.
Absolutely. So obviously, speaking about some of those rookies, the first time for a couple of them, what was the experience like for them coming into camp for the first time and then coming into the tournament right now and then getting their first licks yesterday?
I saw a couple of nervous faces, but to be honest, our coaches always say after the first hit, everything's off. It's sort of much easier after you get that first hit and you realise it's just football. So I saw them all sort of like get into it, especially when we needed them last night as well, when things started going wrong a little bit. I saw a lot of them stand up, which was really awesome, especially like young girls and stuff. It was really good.
All right, well, you've seen the Queensland team play last night. You obviously know a lot of them from out back, and so it would have been good to catch up with a couple of those girls. What have you made from this Sun Devil team that you've seen so far? Just
as strong as we expected. To be honest, they're a great team. They're great girls. They were laughing at me because I'm always on crutches, so they're evil. But no, just exactly what we were expecting, to be honest. You know what's coming when you've got Kester and Christy in the backfield, with that O-line and everything like that. So, yeah, it'll be a really great experience for our girls.
All right, well, Renee Hahn, it's disappointing to see what's happened to you. You've clearly annoyed someone in a past life, and it's all coming back. But it is horrible to see. But thank you for your time, and good luck for you girls, hey?
Cheers.
Thank you.
Well, good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to day 2 of the Women's Australian Gridiron League. We kick off the first game here. Game number 3, the Queensland Sun Devils taking on the New South Wales Coyotes. Fantastic stuff there from Kenny Andreas interviewing New South Wales Coyotes superstar Renee Hahn. Unfortunately suffering an injury pretty early on in New South Wales' first up loss to the WA Raiders last night. It was a 12-0 victory in that one in game number 2 to Western Australia over New South Wales. So they'll certainly be looking to break their duck, hoping to at least get across the line here against a formidable Queensland team. A lot more points scored in their game against the Victoria Eagles. Christy Moran was unstoppable in that contest. Queensland running out 48 points to 32 winners, so plenty of points scored in that one. Victoria showed in that contest that they were more than capable, and they were certainly up for the challenge. As we just move a few things out of the way, as Kenny Andreas tries to make his way up to the commentary box. It's you have to be a world-class gymnast to make your way up here. He's dropped his Powerade, but he's got up here nice and well. Make sure you don't drop that. Kenny.
Oh, Donnie.
How you doing?
Good, mate. Yeah, sorry I didn't throw back to you there after that interview, but I was too busy thinking of plotting out this course to get up at the scaffold.
You were graceful like a swan as always, mate.
Well,
it's always fun to see.
My historic gymnastics days lends its way to that. So.
I was just talking about the results from last night. Some good results for Western Australia and Queensland, and Queensland, of course, looking to all but secure a spot in Saturday's final.
Well, pretty much, yeah, with the way things go. If both of these two teams, the aforementioned winning teams in Western Australia and Queensland, if they both win tonight, if actually makes Thursday a bit of a warm-up game.
It'll be a dead rubber day, won't it?
Which will be very interesting to see how the coaches handle that. And then obviously that sets them up to compete on the main game on Saturday. So still a lot to play for here. If they win here, they'll lock it up. And that's before we even talk about the Queensland-New South Wales rivalry.
Yeah, so New South Wales, we talked about, they've got a couple of injuries, a couple of big key injuries too, to key offensive players, two players that basically run their offence. And they're both gone. Queensland, on the other hand, they've got through relatively unscathed from last night's game. There's nobody sitting out with injury from this game, and they'll be hoping to get through the same way again today. Andy Miller will be certainly hoping that's the case.
Absolutely. You know, I was trying to get something out of Andy Miller and pre-game regarding how we would handle that, especially with knowing that they will have Western Australia on the Thursday. And he goes, you know, it's football. You gotta play for each game, rather you can't look too far ahead. And he goes, you know, certainly I want to try and go through this undefeated again if he can. He says so. You know, he's not going to be pulling anyone back if he can.
Yeah, sometimes form's a funny thing. I think in all sports, it's not a switch you can flick. If you decide to back off for that one game on Thursday, you might not be able to turn it on again for Saturday. So you want to keep that momentum going. If you're going well, then keep going well.
Exactly right, and you kind of want to keep it going. And you know, football is such a rhythmic thing. You know, some positions more than others. So if you're in that rhythm, you kind of don't want to slow it down too much for certain players, because you're exactly right. Some players have trouble turning it back on, and then when that's more than a couple, that can be a bit of a struggle.
All right, there was a couple of things that we didn't really get a chance to go through in the pre-game last night with the opening ceremony and whatnot all going on, and then they got straight into it. So we got a little bit more time tonight before this one kicks off between Queensland and New South Wales. Now, one of the things we were talking about off air after the game last night was that there are a few differences between what the average casual fan might see in an NFL game compared to what you see out here.
Yes, absolutely. With something we didn't get touch on, and we also realise that there'll be a lot of people getting their first taste of Gridiron or American football action through this tournament. I'm sure there's a lot of players with parents, families, partners, and friends alike all at home wondering what the heck is going on. But yeah, for those though who have watched a top-level game of Gridiron before, probably through the NFL, maybe college, you are probably wondering why this feels so. Where's the missing two players? And of course, usually the game is played with 11 players aside. In the women's tournament, it is 9 aside. So they're dropping off 2 players for offense. That's 2 what we call tackles, the 2 extra offensive linemen on the edges. And the defense, well, that really comes down to either you're dropping a linebacker and a lineman off, or you're dropping 2 linemen off. So it's a bit more of a condensed game, but it is being played still on the same regulation field, at least width-wise. So in the 9-a-side format, that can lead to probably a lot more big plays than your average 11-a-side.
Yeah,
so there's a lot more space between players.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. A bit more space and a bit more room to run, and that gives speedsters like Christy Moran and Kestra Trias-Mono that extra room to show off their pace.
Especially on... whilst obviously during the normal play it will affect it, but especially special teams as well. You'll see a lot more big plays on special teams in the 9-a-side format when you've got 9 players trying to cover the same sort of width than you will often in the 11.
Okay, so any other significant differences?
Apart from that, obviously having less players does affect some of what we call the box rules regarding where people can line up inside there, but effectively it is all the same from there. It is under what we call IFAF ruling, or the International Federation of American Football ruling, not the NFL. And the biggest key there is usually that you only need 1 foot in bounds, which aligns with the NCAA rules when you're making a catch. So as long as you've got 1 foot in bounds when you are making a catch of the football, that's okay. And of course, with the IFAF rule, we have other stuff like the mercy rule, which might come into play if there is a 35-point spread. It'll move to a running clock. So that means we won't have stoppages for when the ball goes out of play, and the only thing that can stop it is timeouts.
Okay, so we'll move into a bit of a preview of this game. The Queensland taking on New South Wales. Queensland obviously victorious last night against Victoria, but they gave up 32 points in that game. Is that something that would be of a concern for them?
Yeah, absolutely. I was speaking to Lon Tulloch, the defensive coordinator for the Sun Devils, and naturally she wasn't happy, and probably so she shouldn't. That defense really struggled to contain anything in that first half we had yesterday. It was point for point there, and they found an answer at halftime. And she was explaining how this this is the nature of the tournament. You defend against things you probably mightn't have seen before in your own domestic league and state. I think some of those outside screens was very foreign to her. I think there's maybe only one team back in Queensland who might run that, which is the Bayside Ravens under over there under name escapes me now. That's embarrassing. I was just speaking to him this morning under Gerard Fitzpatrick. Sorry, Gerard. I know you're listening in. So it's maybe something that a lot of she hasn't really had to defend against, and vice versa for maybe some of the other teams as well. But that's the lovely part of state football. You get to see things that you haven't really seen before, and you have to learn how to adjust around them.
Okay, and probably on the exact opposite side of the coin, New South Wales failed to score a point.
They did.
Now, obviously losing two of their biggest weapons on offence. How do they adjust their game? Do they adjust their game at all? Do they try to change the way they play, having lost those two key players, or do they try and find other people within the squad to fit that role?
Well, speaking of Dane Robinson, the head coach of the Coyotes in pre-game, yes, they did. They were up all last night trying to figure out what they did. I was also speaking to offensive coordinator Coach Wolf about what they did, and it's a hard place to be in because there's only so much of a change you can make over a 24-hour turnaround. But naturally losing the players, and this is before we even talk about scoring 0 points, their two key offensive players are out, so they had to make changes regardless. So it'll be interesting. They're going to obviously find ways because they're going to be slipping players in who probably haven't repped at the position through preparation and probably haven't repped there before. So they're going to have to try and find ways to slip them in. They've assured me they've simplified things in some ways and they've had to completely create brand new players in another. So, yeah, expect some changes.
Yeah, so we see going through the ritual out in the middle to work out who's going to kick off and how that's all going to go. Renee Hahn involved in this, still part of the leadership group, even though she's injured.
Yeah, she did. You might have seen in the pre-game in there. You might have seen her racing off afterwards. She said, more than happy to do this interview. I just need to be back for the coin toss. She still obviously considers herself, and the team, I'm sure, considers herself the captain there. So wasn't going to shirk that responsibility.
Yeah, so described herself as a cheerleader. Now that we've sort of broken it down, how do you see this one playing out?
Oh, look, I'm all for an underdog. And even as even as a Queenslander, technically speaking, it hurts me to say this, but, you know, New South Wales coming back and winning this despite all the odds would be one of the famous football stories in Australia if it can happen. But I think the Queensland Seminoles are just going to have too much firepower on offense right now, and I think they're just going to run away. Once they get 2-3 scores ahead, it's just going to be hard for this offense to keep up. So if New South Wales is going to win this, they're going to have to turn this into a dogfight and play defense and really bring this into a short game where, you know, it's the 1 or 2 scores that might make the difference. Queensland has said they don't have to make a whole lot of forced changes. They've got a full lineup still from yesterday, and yeah, I think it just might be a bit too much fire for the New South Wales Coyotes.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go the same way. I think Queensland a little bit too much, and I think the scary thing for the rest of the competition was that they had a few of their key players that maybe didn't have their best game last night. You know, Riley Hodgson, who's just coming back from that injury, she had moments where she did some really good things, but other times where she put balls down that you'd expect her to take. So
well, I think it would be fair for, and I don't think she'll kill me for saying this, but it was a down game for her, and it was a disappointing game for her, and I'm sure she'll understand that. I'm just looking at her in this huddle now, but I think she's had a good morning, and the teams, from what I've said, they've all been around her, and she's pretty self-critical, and yeah, you can see her on camera right now, in fact. But she had a special cereal I saw today at breakfast. She brought a bit of cereal that's only for her, apparently.
Okay.
And tried to bite the hand of anyone else to try to get amongst it. So I think she'll be good to go today. She'll be raring to make up for yesterday's performance.
She had the special wheat pick.
Indeed. I think it was a bit more sugary than that, mate. But another shout-out I want to make before we get into it, and it looks like we're going to be seeing the Sun Devils, they'll be kicking off. So we are going to see them, is the New South Wales Coyotes offensive line. And we mentioned a lot of them yesterday. Losse, Tagaloa Smith, they played every single snap. There was no rotation with the Coyotes yesterday. That is a heck of an effort. And now, especially with the power game they ran, like they really put in a knock there for their team, and they're going to have to back up and do it again.
So we'll just be ready for start. Game number 3. In the Women's Australian Gridiron League National Championships. Queensland to kick off.
Change your kicker. Marissa Hayes taking it over today.
She gets a good piece of that and finds a bit of space. Down to Michelle Crisp. Crisp eventually gets on it, steps past one, finds a little bit of space before being pulled down by B. Clement.
B there, rookie season last year for the Bayside Ravens, but Crisp, there's a name that I think is going to be one of the players that will need to step up for this offense. She filled in yesterday, and she did a tremendous job, if you ask me, for the extra responsibility that was put on her shoulders, and she's going to come into this game knowing that that's expected of her from the first snap today. And it looks like she's starting a running back too.
Crisp starting out there.
Well, we saw this formation a lot yesterday. You can't see it on screen. They're close up at the moment, but as you see in the wide shot there, the two-back set.
So it's with Crisp. After the kick return, she gets the first run as well on the set.
Tackle made there by Aroha Tolik.
Yeah, there's a gate just there.
So it'll be 2nd and 9.
And once again, New South Wales, a more traditional offense, which allows us to have a bit of analysis between snaps. I think it'll be a different case when the Sun Devils jump back on with their no huddle.
So O'Sullivan in QB. Gets the ball again to Crisp for the run. To the outside this time. She picks up good yardage. Can't get to that first down marker though.
Yeah, she put them in a good spot though. 3rd and very, very short. Actually, it's probably a bit generous. Still 3rd and 4. That's manageable. Keeps their entire playbook in there. Good downfield block there.
It's been all running so far. And
Sevier and Sevier. Sevier is another name. We'll get to her in a moment that I think they're going to need to find a way to get her involved because she's got a lot of speed on the outside.
again, New South Wales. Well, there we go, getting through there. Ella Briscoe
10 on 10.
makes the big shot.
Ella Briscoe, the linebacker from the Logan City Jets, comes down, and already in this pro style, what this has allowed is that Lon Tuddick is allowed to blitz more than she probably did yesterday, where she had to deal with a lot of wide receiver sets and forced to keep a lot of these players in coverage. Sends Briscoe in there and comes in with a tackle for a loss on 3rd down.
So now the punt team's out there for New South Wales. They'll kick it away and Queensland will get a chance to return.
Oh, Briscoe almost getting through.
Kick got pressured and the ball ends up out over the touchline. Queensland will start in pretty good field position here. That's a really good defensive set to start for them.
It is, it is. They had a little bit of success running down that right edge, the Coyotes, but Queensland, in 2 sets of downs, they managed to force a turnover, and we actually see one of the few punts we've seen this tournament.
Yeah, just the second one. We only saw one in the game last night. As Queensland, from the outset, some pressure getting through on Lauren Evans, who started this game.
Indeed. She ended up coming in around halftime for the Queensland Sun Devils. Jasmine Collins, though, her outback teammate, quickly gets in, shuts her down.
Just the one back to Evans, gets it to Moran. She'll be one that New South Wales will want to contain. They get plenty there.
I think we've got a fumble.
And the ball's come loose.
And they have. It's recovered.
By Jet Ju Hu.
Yeah, Nonna Hughes she's also known by. And look at this. How about a turn? As I said, defense will need to step up and turn this into a dogfight if they want to win. And Moran, 2 fumbles this tournament. Her second one comes up early in the game. So the offense need to ride this energy here and just really will this way deep into Queensland territory. They did actually tell me earlier in the week that kicking is an option for them. I don't know how much confidence they have in that option, but the field goal could be on the board if they can get close enough.
We'll see if New South Wales comes up with anything different here. Moving some players about.
Here goes
It's with
McAuliffe.
McAuliffe. McAuliffe sneaks to the outside.
And she's someone who's probably going to have to shirk a lot more of the load. McAuliffe take a lot more responsibility in the running game now, doing South Australia proud. She's a short back there close to the ground, and she almost lost it. I didn't actually see that until I saw that on replay. They recovered by Lawton.
So 2nd and 7 here for New South Wales. Very much played in this middle third of the field so far. No one been able to break it for anything significant. High there for O'Sullivan, gets it to Crisp. Crisp, no room to move whatsoever. And Tony Connolly comes up with the stop.
Yeah, totally common. I mistakenly said she was from the Gold Coast Stingrays yesterday. Actually represents the Brisbane Rhinos. She did a great job getting in from her position there.
You see Crisp, as soon as she gets the ball, she's set upon. There was just no room for her to move at all. So again with the two backs. McAuliffe and Crisp. Steps back, looking for the short pass.
They've got
Gets
the
it out
screen.
to Crisp.
And that's a little slip screen out to the right-hand slide there they've done. And obviously, maybe that's a new wrinkle because I don't recall seeing that too much yesterday from them. It still brings up 4th down, but still another example of maybe some of the creative ways they've been forced to involve some of these players with some of their key players out.
So we're looking at about 4th and 7. And again, the punt team comes out.
It's low, it's bobbled.
Oh, there's a,
Oh, that's disappointing.
and that was going to give Queensland the ball in even better field position with the failed punt.
Yeah, some of these snaps have been, that's probably the worst we've seen so far, but I have to admit, Rachel O'Sullivan has been making up for a lot of the inaccurate snaps. None of them been horribly inaccurate. I've seen plenty of bad snaps over my time, trust me. But she's forced to have to leap up high, get down low for some of them. It's probably taken out of some of the rhythm in some of these quick meshing running plays and also some of her passes.
Evans to Moran. Moran this time through the middle. She'll keep a tight grip on that one. But only gets a couple.
Yeah, Moran coming off the series where she had a fumble. Had 0 fumbles in her domestic season last year for the Bayside Ravens.
Yeah, 2 already in 2.
Yeah, it gives you that advantage, getting right on the edge there. Obviously, it's subject to how quickly the defense plays you.
To Evans again. Pitches out to Moran. Moran beats one with a stiff arm, but can't pick up too many yards. It was Stacey Spear, who didn't get shaken off too often last night, but Moran's a different kettle of fish, isn't she?
She certainly is, and they're actually there's a lot of camaraderie going around in this tournament. A lot of the players interstates talking to each other, and they were talking to each other. I think it was Renee Hahn and Moran talking in between, talking about Moran's deadly stiff arm, where I think she's actually got some metal in her arm from a previous injury, and they say it's an illegal advantage. They're joking around, of course.
Evans. Oh, well read there by Kelly Whitehead, getting through and stopping Moran in a hurry.
Kelly Whitehead there. Young player. She's another one of the South Australian players out of the South City Chiefs. She actually played in the under-19 competition, obviously playing against gentlemen there, doing whatever she can to get some football and proving she can rough it up.
Evans looking to pass. Sort of got rushed there a little bit, and the pass goes incomplete to Mackenzie Sivia. To Taylor Roberts, rather, the other 25.
Yeah, the rush came in there and she had to readjust, change her footwork a bit, and that's why the pass goes a bit skew-whiff. Not quite exactly the targeted hands of Taylor Roberts, who's a rangy target.
So 4th and 10 here, a big play for Queensland. And of course they go to Moran. Moran looking to find space. She gets hit by Spear but gets away, and then looking to get to that first down marker.
She's got it. Getting the first down signal.
So there we go.
First down.
Another big play, and on big plays, they go to their big players.
Well, how about that? That shows the faith they have in Moran. It's 4th and 10, which in almost anyone else's language, that's a passing down. It's a simple handoff, not any trickery either. They just Moran to churn out 10 yards for him.
And that one overshot from Evans.
I think there might have been a miscommunication there with the routes. There was an order because you had the 4, and Cody Fuller and Marissa Hayes ended up in the exact same spot, and that pass going to someone who might have had to run a deeper route.
Oh, that's a great route. Touchdown, Queensland. Casey Cubis.
That's exactly right. Cubis moving out to the wide receiver position. Played quarterback all last game, but she did play a full season catching passes out in the Logan City, or the Griffith Uni Thunder. And you can see why that's one of the players that got her wide receiver of the year last year.
Now Moran, she's going to find space and get the 2-point conversion, so that's successful. And Queensland will lead this one 8-0 over New South Wales. And we mentioned a few times last night about Cubis, her proficiency as a wide receiver, as well as being able to go into the quarterback role.
Yeah, a couple plays, key plays in the Sun Bowl of 2017. They sent her on fades, and she simply just out-jumped her, now Queensland teammate Brianne Trickey, who was playing cornerback back at the Ravens, and obviously shows a lot of good ability of high-pointing the ball and tracking it over her shoulder. This time they use a big body to catch a slant inside.
Yeah, that time she didn't have to go over the top of anyone, but standing at 183 centimetres tall makes her one of the tallest players going around.
We can see it from our commentary box. You see Evans and you see Cubis standing pretty much next to each other. They're more or less the same height. Maybe Cubis inching her out just a little bit there. But when it's tall passing to tall, A, it makes it a lot easier for the quarterback, but B, it's also just very hard to defend at times, especially in those sort of close range situations. And that's why they'll love that slants. We saw Queensland run a whole bunch of slants last night. Couldn't get away with as many as they'd like, but clearly not stepping away from that game plan.
Flying through there.
And Dane Robinson demanding a penalty on that play there with Casatrios-Meadow coming down and making contact with the down player. It's a bit of a grey area there. Well, I say grey, but it's once it plays down, you're not supposed to touch him. But
yeah, I think it was Torres that came through.
Oh, Torres. My apologies. Chrissy Torres. She's spent a lot of time trying not to cramp up today. It was extremely embarrassed to be the one player going off in game 1 with cramp. Has guaranteed me she's been on the waters and all the different things you need to make sure those muscles are hydrated for a long tournament.
Well, after not posting a point in the last game, New South Wales early on in this one in the first quarter find themselves down 8-0. So they've got to start to try and build something. And again, it's a run play, but getting through. Ella Briscoe's having a game so far.
Yeah, in for a tackle for a loss again. Once again, this more pro style is allowing Alon Tulloch to feel happy enough to send a couple of these blitzes. Briscoe's one of the better ones of them in the Queensland League. And they'll continue to do that with the success they're coming up with at the moment. Conversely, New South Wales, they're doing the same thing. They're moving to a 3-line front, and that's pretty much saying that they're doing everything they can to stop Moran from breaking free.
We'll see what New South Wales can come up with on this occasion. They're going to look to, again, go the run, this time with Karmali. So it's the first run we've seen from her. She sort of took on that power running game from New South Wales when they lost a couple of players last night.
Yeah, she's a power runner herself. She's just used to doing it from the quarterback position.
Yes.
So, yeah, obviously getting used to getting to that stance and taking handoffs rather than giving them. But, yeah, it doesn't generate a whole lot of action there. Another 3rd and long, which is not where, well, any team wants to be, but this offense, which has shown limited proficiency in getting that ball deep, wants to be.
And you mentioned Mackenzie Sivia might be one that they could look to as a target. Plenty of speed.
Well, the state gymnast, I believe the notes suggest. Let's see this play unfold.
Again, going the short pass, and it gets to Crisp. Crisp is going to get the first down. It's a great run there from Crisp. after the short reception. Plenty of yards after completion.
Yeah, well, they had them in man coverage in that play, and that's actually, more than anything, that was a great throw. We can see it on replay here. The ball gets over the top of the defender in a position where Crisp doesn't have to break stride. She can still run, and she had plenty of space in front of her. So good identification there by O'Sullivan. Gets the ball, lofts it over the top, and puts it in the best, not only the only place the receiver can get it, but the best place the receiver can get it.
So the first time New South Wales have been able to get to a first down marker. And they get another set as they get it off to Crisp, and again getting through for the tackle for a loss. Well, Ella Briscoe, she's really stepped up in Queensland's second game.
And that's twice she's got him from the backside now, and usually you leave that player unblocked because you're trying to get all the action to the play side there, but when a player is presenting that much speed, it can cause just as much trouble as we've seen because she's chasing these plays down from the backside. So that means you either need to leave someone into a blocker, usually via a cut block, or you just need to get your execution on the front end a lot faster.
New South Wales, they sit at 2nd and 15 as they come out of the huddle.
Briscoe again, she's in the right outside linebacker position at the moment. She's quite deep, so if she's getting it from depth, that's pretty impressive.
And again the run, and again Briscoe gets it. They run the same play, and Briscoe does the same thing.
Yep, she went right into the, pursued via the B gap there, still keeping her discipline. And I say Briscoe was deep, but she's really only keeping the depth of her opposition running back. You know, she's no deeper than they are lining up conversely. So she's got the speed and obviously matches up well speed-wise with that backfield. So she's going to make plays like that all day. She's already got 3 tackles for a loss.
Was that the end of the first quarter?
I think so. They're trying to make sure they're on top of things. The whiteout today is Martin Muck, who's he's got a crazy backstory. He's a white hat by now, but during his working week, he's a criminal lawyer.
There you go.
So I'll be sure not to cuss him out because I might need him one day.
Well, that's there's a story there.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
there is a story there. One that won't be told. No, of course, I'm a good boy most of the time. And there we're seeing the lollipops changed over, so
It is the end of the first quarter.
first quarter, oh yeah, much shorter first quarter than we experienced in Queensland's game yesterday.
It was 42 minutes, I was told, the first quarter.
Yeah, apparently it was a big breakdown there between. They originally were going to run with the field clock we've got here, but then that ran out. So the other one was only supposed to use as a backup, the on-field clock. Also, say the referee's clock, and then that malfunctioned. And then between all that, they couldn't get an accurate gauge of time, which led to a. And look at that shot of the field clock we've got. Obviously, it says 10 minutes. Well, it could be. I mean, if they've reset that for the second quarter.
It's always correct before it starts.
So I didn't actually see if it was ticking down earlier, but regardless, the referees they're going to be sure to make sure everyone, or at least the relevant people on the field, will be regularly updated with the time. So hopefully that includes us. And here we go.
Looking at about 3rd and forever, New South Wales. And as you said, they don't have too many long play options.
Oh, they're going to dumping it off.
Crisp again, looking to find some blockers, but Queensland eventually getting through and coming up with the stop through Tony Connolly.
Well, if you're Lon Tulloch, you're shelving that play. They're both 3rd and long situations now. They've, or at least 2 of those times, they've gone to that little slip screen out the side. The screen game is a good alternative, I guess, if you don't have a vertical game to go to resort to. You see a lot of teams will try to break big plays open via the screen, but unfortunately that hasn't come good for the Coyotes yet. Queensland have shut them down both times.
And looking to go to that punt team. Jasmine Collins, the snap wasn't the best last time.
It was not. Right. Well, we're going to make sure this is organised here, I think. Didn't see the signal for who called the timeout there, but
We do have a timeout. You wouldn't have thought Queensland would be calling a timeout in that situation.
oh well, sometimes it's just you want to make sure you get the right personnel. Yeah, and a lot of coaches, and I'd say the strong majority of coaches are more than happy to give up a timeout to fix that sort of stuff. But if you're a player, you certainly wouldn't think they'd be happy to it. I've been cussed out a good time or two for being part of or possibly the cause of personnel issues that have forced coaches to use timeouts.
I love you, Mai. I love you.
But as I said, I missed who called the timeout there. If it's New South Wales, the only other real time you will be calling a timeout in a situation like this is if you've got a certain player that's not a punt called. So they have called a fake punt before. It didn't lead to a whole lot yesterday. They called it on their first punt attempt.
I was going to say, was that New South Wales? I do remember seeing it.
New South Wales, and I believe it was Haley Tagaloa-Smith who went back to throw it, not Jasmine Collins. So
I think you're correct.
right now it's Jasmine Collins, the usual punter, back in there. Well, Queensland are already aware of it. They said watch for the pass.
So if they do come up with any trickery,
Nope.
Collins.
End of punt. Keeper Anderson. Oh, lordy lord, what a hit.
Jessica Anderson gets laid out flat.
But Toffelau, as I said, she's one of the offensive linemen who had to stick it out the entire snap count for the offensive line yesterday. And then look at her contributing on special teams as well.
So Queensland now.
That's a mismatch. So that's a mismatch. Ooh.
Ooh, and just incomplete. That pass to Riley Hodgson. Was down low around her ankles. A tough one for her.
Yeah, I think Evans had a bit of a sidearm going on there. She needs to get that elbow up and deliver that pass.
So again, we see this hurry-up offense from Queensland. Evans goes to Moran, and she's stopped pretty much right at the line of scrimmage, so New South Wales defence containing her pretty well.
Yeah, Jasmine Collins and Josephine Fideli combining there to take her down. Jasmine Collins strong off that edge.
Now the pitch to the outside. And again, Moran this time finds some space. There's the speed. Moran down the side. And coming across and making the stop, Margot Tui.
And once again, it's their right now it's their breadwinner, that pitch option and that speed option out to the left. Moran, well, she ends up gaining about an extra 15, 20 yards purely on speed.
Yeah, they had players there, but she was just too quick for them. And now they from the snap, Evans didn't like what she saw, so went the run. I think it was the second option. I don't think it was the preferred option.
I would agree with you there.
Yeah, I wish my Twiggy leg mate Unicorn and Baby Hazel.
Yeah, she immediately took the right, didn't like it, saw the gap, did the best she could with it.
Now Trias Mono. Trias Mono. Well, she comes back all the way back the other way. Trias Mono. There's some more speed from Queensland. Well, she is lightning. Does the 40 yards in 4.9 seconds.
Yeah, girls, well done. Love you, Unicorn.
Jeez, and the funny thing about Trias Mono, obviously you read out the times there, she's quick, and we miss it unfortunately. Maybe there is a replay that goes all the way back, but it's not necessarily her speed that blows my mind, it's her ability to change direction so quickly. She has such control over her body and balance that she can make the hardest cuts. Oh, and there's Riley Hodgson adding the 2 points in the corner. Is it Hodgson? Yes, it is, the 84.
Yep.
Hodgson. And but the way she stood up the defender there, she immediately transfers all the weight off that front foot and stops and goes back the other way. And then we just saw the defender looking like a point guard with her ankles broken.
We saw Queensland last night with the 2-point conversions. They converted just 3 from 7. They've converted both the first 2 here tonight. So you're getting those extra 2 yards to get the 2 points. A little bit better so far tonight And it's 16-0, Queensland leading New South Wales. It's tough to see, it's only 16-0, but it's tough at this point to see New South Wales being able to put multiple scores on the board.
Yeah, they haven't really threatened to take it the distance in any way, shape or form, and we're definitely hearing the the cheerleading squad back here in the stands with us.
Marissa Hayes struck that first kick-off very well. And we're back underway. That one a little bit low driving.
Yeah, that came off the odd part of the foot, I'd reckon. She can try to sell me for her life that she was intended. I don't think that was the case. She's coming off a bit too far off the inside of the foot, and Collins eventually cleans that up. But New South Wales, look, they've just got to keep plugging along here and hoping something breaks. There's still plenty of football ahead.
Yeah, plenty of time left in this game for sure, and they start with this one after the ordinary kick-off in probably the best field position that we've seen them in so far tonight. Let's see what they can come up with. Just the one back here. So it's just McAuliffe back there for the run option. And a flag. So some early movement.
I haven't seen a whole lot of them so far. Might actually be the first.
First down.
Oh, the referee's coming into our headset again. That sharp whistle welcoming us back.
I think he only just turned it on. Goes back, Evans. Pitches to McAuliffe. McAuliffe getting some good yards, but plenty of bodies getting involved there.
And there we go. I love that. The little swing pass out to the left. Queensland established that they want to blitz. They've been sending blitzes off the edge. One of the easiest answers to that is throwing the swing pass and throwing to the person that would usually into the vacant space left by the linebacker. So I think that's something they should probably go back to a little more. Brought it back to where they were prior to the penalty.
Yeah, so back to 2nd and 10. 2 in the backfield this time. Now it's with Crisp, and Crisp is dragged down in the backfield, and Queensland getting plenty of penetration. This time, Rachel Ware.
Yeah, old Rochelle Ware there, the end. As I said, still more used to her playing linebacker, but they're using her quick first step, which she's proving to be deadly in this tournament so far. She's not the biggest girl, and I wouldn't say she's probably the strongest girl out there as well, but she's got a lightning first step. So if she wins that battle, she can chase you down.
Rochelle with plenty of rugby league experience behind her. Played for the Aspley Devils.
Indeed. Some of that Northside reputation. Brisbane blitz here by Aro Hatolik. Oh!
O'Sullivan got away the first time, but then runs into B. Clement, and Tulloch comes from behind to get involved as well. I think.
Oh, no.
Is that Tulloch that stayed down?
It is indeed.
And there's plenty of concern from the Queensland players straight away.
Oh, the ankle gets caught underneath. And they're calling for ambulance immediately. And the ambulance is here tonight. They won't have to wait. I've seen many games.
You see everyone waving to the ambulances here at the ground. And Ella Briscoe racing up there to grab them.
Last minute.
I think they've come back and realised that it's not fourth down,
and they've gone for the bunt. They've set their offense back out.
Wow.
There we go.
Yep, okay.
I thought they were just.
So now we've got the punt.
Jasmine Collins.
Collins looking for the sideline, and we'll find it. Didn't look to be looking for distance. Was just straight away looking for the touchline. Didn't want the punt return.
And I'd suggest that the Queensland's Queenslanders thought they were, well, it's good tactics to keep it away from the returners, but the Queenslanders actually kept that defense on. Jessica Anderson and Tiafi Thurston both stayed on the field as safeties. And so they probably had a chance to just boot it downfield if they wanted to there.
So Queensland with the ball now, 1st and 10. Evans pitches it to the outside to Moran. Moran beats 1, beats 2, beats 3. Here goes Moran, looking to that first down marker, and we'll get there. Well, we see her doing it once again, Christy Moran.
Once again, the right read there by Evans. I'd argue Evans can flirt a bit more with the pitch, can go a little bit longer if she wanted to free up Moran a bit more. But hey, if it's churning out first downs, can't be too wrong.
Moran just able to find space, and she had to beat 3 and 4 players to get the gains that she got.
Spin move, she tries to spin move.
And that time Elizabeth Kyrie got hold of it. And got back to the line, but that's about it.
Yeah, I don't think she's got a whole lot of moves in her arsenal. And running moves, that is, in Evans. More of just a downhill runner.
Evans gets it onto Moran. Moran finds a bit of space, looks to get onto the outside. She does. Here goes Moran, and another first down for Christy Moran.
Flags are thrown in, though. That was a holding call, I believe.
See if we can pick up the white hat this time.
During the play, personal foul, face mask, number 7 of the defense. 15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. First down.
And now they're giving her
Stacey
yards.
Spear. An extra 15 yards, so
Giving them even more yards.
the officials obviously had a better view of it than we did. I thought there was a hint of a face mask there, but
Forgive my distraction, mate. I have a distinct smell of chips somewhere around me. Chips and gravy.
Kenny the Seagull.
Oh, jeez. And Sarah Kane there pointing symbols. She skipped the water recovery today, actually. She felt she was better off without it. We had her own recovery system going on. Had a good chat with them. Her and Wildcat, Sarah Schultz, in the hotel this morning.
There goes the pass play. Had every chance there. Cody Fuller had a clean grab on it and has just put it down. She snatched it at here.
Yeah, she's done the wrong way there. You need to get underneath the ball over the shoulder. Let that land in the breadbasket. And yeah, it's gone a touchdown gone begging. That's perfectly placed there by Evans.
She beat Kira Lee Darj and Barsukov. And now they go to Moran. Moran looks to find that space again, this time trying to go through the middle, but stopped by Kelly Whitehead. The South Australian comes up with a good tackle.
Now we'll look at this on replay. Look at how Moran sort of shortens up her steps as she gets into the interior there, making sure she doesn't lose any power to maximise all her post-contact yardage. And then obviously when she gets into the field, she widens up that gate, and we're back in live action. And it looks like Moran's going to get in the corner.
With the touchdown, Christy Moran, the 3rd touchdown of the day, of the evening.
It's possibly, what, a 6th of the tournament?
Yeah, she got quite a few last night, a first in this game. As they look to line up now for the 2-point conversion, they've been successful with their first 2 attempts.
Yeah, I think they've only missed 1, including yesterday's game.
Again, gets the pass off, and a good stop there on that occasion from Madison Elene. So it's the first failed conversion.
And yeah, chugging along there. They don't have to work too hard over pace here. They don't have to put any more points on faster than they're doing it right now. They can just keep rolling with this offense, and they're asking New South Wales to find an answer. So
Queensland 22, New South Wales 0. in this this State of Origin battle. I hope the rugby league version of the State of Origin's a little tighter than this one is so far.
I don't.
Yeah. Go away.
So, yeah, right now, obviously, it still marks a in the last 4 games, including this one. These two teams have clashed. There's only been the 1 touchdown scored by the Coyotes. I believe it's Eva Leitchi. Yvette Leitchar, I should say. My apologies. I made a mockery of that.
Put down there by Helene. She got away from the first tackle, but didn't get too much further. She beat Anderson, but then 3 other Queenslanders came back and put her back in that same spot. Helene involved in the last couple of plays.
Check out the stiff arm cop there by Anderson. Good job there by 53. Helene. Oh, brilliant. Look at this. The sideline by Queensland is the most audible I've heard at all tournaments so far.
And now going long.
Open. Oh, no.
Sivia.
Oh, she needed to trust her quarterback there. She was looking back probably a bit too early. And then she pretty much was side skipping. She just needs to run. Keep running. Your quarterback will get it.
We have been calling for New South Wales to unleash the speed of this 17-year-old flyer, Mackenzie Sivia.
Yeah, she just tracks it a bit too long.
Well, as you say, if she kept running and trusted a quarterback to put it on a dime, then she probably would have been in the right spot to catch it. But,
yeah, you're right. But we were speaking yesterday. We know that Sylvia's got speed. We saw it in the reverses there, but I wouldn't mind just sending her vertical and test some of these DBs. She's working against Prothero right now from the Griffith Uni Thunder.
They go the run the option this time with Crisp. Crisp, she's beaten a couple. And then gets out of bounds.
2 big plays there by the Coyotes there. First, the broken tackle there by Carmali. Chris, my apologies. And then Carmali with the block to spring over for the extra couple of yards right here. Boom, on Thurston. They are a physical bunch. Zovens, they might be lacking some of that explosive. Yeah, well, the explosive sort of offensive power at the moment, but geez, not lacking on the physical side.
A bit of movement in the defensive line there for Queensland. They look to set up for this next play. 1st and 10. Oh, solid contact there from Queensland on Carmali. 15 on 15. Ellie Sharman was involved for Queensland.
Ellie Sharman getting involved. She's the one who's floated around in different positions, receiver and DB. And yeah, good job getting on down on a power runner. Again, that swing pass, I still like that involvement despite the lack of production there. Queensland are going to keep blitzing you. This time they just picked the wrong side. I think it was Brewer coming off the other side. They're the wrong side, unfortunately.
Randy Klukas, the other defender involved. From Queensland there with the big shot.
Tried to out of goal at me for calling her not so much a finesse player in the pregame. I stuck to my guns. Rushing all of them.
Again going long. Here goes Sivia again.
Oh, this time is the opposite. O'Sullivan doesn't have the gas. Again, and look, it's there. That's twice now she's gotten behind him. And then Queensland, they sent both D linemen and then 2 rushes off the edge there. So what that means, you're going to get one-on-one coverage on the outside. It's proving that the 25 and Mackenzie Sivia from the Northwestern Phoenix, the gymnast with speed to burn, she can get behind them. They just need to put the other pieces together.
Woy Roosters league tag player as well, so plenty of strings to her bow.
Yeah, that's just showing against the different sort of worlds these ladies come from to play their sport. But I'm almost usually the other way around, and you go quick game to try and beat a blitzing team. But this is the one time I'd probably suggest go max protection, go blocker for Russia, and then trust your receivers to win one-on-one on the outside here, because
they're almost there.
Let's see what they to come up with here. 3rd and 12. O'Sullivan goes to Karmali, who juggles it. Be interesting to see what the call is here with the incomplete pass. So not counting that as a fumble.
4th down, and they're sending Kester Trias Mono onto the field. Trying to get Thurston off, but
I think looking at the replay, the correct call from the officials.
unfortunately that quick huddle there, Trias Mono couldn't get on, so they've sent Jessica Anderson back to return on this punt, at least this punt looking formation. Let's see if they don't have another trick play in there up their sleeve.
Again, getting it on like the second bounce there, the punter.
And look, ultimately they only made, maybe 14 yards out of that punt. Maybe they're just worth considering, just taking a shot.
Yeah.
See Stacey Spear on screen.
Even with the punt, they didn't make it to where the first down marker was.
I even joke around sometimes that get your quarterback just to throw a duck in the air, and some of these DBs can't resist the idea of an interception. Just make that your punt.
So Queensland straight away looking for that long option down the middle. Taylor Roberts.
Looked good. I think two things there. Either Evans needs to drill that in closer between the safeties, but also I think Taylor Roberts might have, judging from what I saw her helmet, she had a bit of a look at the safety coming across and might have heard some footsteps along with it there. So possibly short arm that, but no harm done. 2nd down. Oh, this is dangerous.
Moran, she's got space here. A little in and away, and Moran gone! Off and gone! Queensland opening up a sizable lead here over New South Wales in the Women's Australian Gridiron League National Championships.
And we'll look at this on replay here, and look, even from the start of the snap, that looked dangerous. All the angles by the offensive linemen and the relative blockers were all on point. Taylor Roberts was there to help set the edge, but then finally on the back end of that, the block there from the ex-wide receiver in Hodgson is just enough to make sure Moran turns that into a 30-yard gain into a 40-yard touchdown. So. And we missed the 2-point conversion there, unfortunately, but
looked like it waved off.
Flag on the field. I'm in not a great position to call these 2-point conversions, Donnie. I'm literally at a 45-degree angle behind 2 cameramen.
50. Penalties declined. Score is no good.
Let's go.
Thanks, Martin.
Good drive. Good drive.
Referee Martin Mutt giving us the call there. So
Remained 28-0 to Queensland over New South Wales.
Is that back-to-back 2-point conversions? Failed there.
Yes, after getting the first 2.
And I've always been big on getting 2-point conversions. For me, it really is an execution and an attitude thing. It's 2 yards there, and eventually one time I realized that it's something you almost need to practice on its own. You know, a lot of people just think you just run your offense, practicing your offense. I always like setting up 2-point, allotting a time in practice that was dedicated to 2-point conversions. Of course, there are more and more teams now setting up and doing the PATs, but
yeah, I was looking at the stats and wondering what sort of percentage would they be knocking over with PATs.
Yeah.
Because 4 from 13 2-point conversions we saw last night. And here we go with Crisp just looking for the sideline.
He takes it up, sets him up again.
Well, as we enter the final 90 seconds or so of this opening half, there's not going to be too long left for this drive, and they haven't shown any tendency in either of the games that we've seen them so far to be able to move the ball quickly down the field.
Yeah, or even right now just move the ball downfield.
Yeah.
Seems to be sputtering around that 40-yard mark. But look, if I'm on that coaching staff, especially when your offense is a whole new look right now, at least one play out of every set of downs, I'm taking a shot deep, because why not at this point? You're playing catch-up footy, you've proven that it's almost there. They've got to connect at some point. Sylvia's now in the slot. Let's see if they've got a bit of a corner out plan for her. Single high safety. They could just go all seams here. Oh, change of quarterback.
Kamali into quarterback, and here she goes. Kamali into space. So they've made the change at quarterback.
I was too busy looking at the wide receivers there. Didn't realize the pass thrower actually changed up, and they've got Kamali in there. And Dan Robinson did just say that if the rhythm's not there, they're just going to change it up, and they've finally done that. And we saw the shades of the Opal Bowl there with Kamali running from quarterback.
He certainly does love to run as a quarterback.
And needs a bit of a read option action there to spring her.
We'll see if having Kamali in does give New South Wales offence a bit of a different look. It's a good start. Kamali again, and again skips to the outside, bumps away from one, and then hits the deck. So Torres there doing just enough to bring Kamali down, but solid contact.
And look, Queensland are going to get better on the backside there. You have a fair idea that Kamali likes to run. So in that read option, you can see even the eyes there on the replay there. She's watching the backside defender, which is probably going to be the blitzing linebacker there, or possibly Rochelle Ware. As soon as she crashes down on the running back, she's going to take it. As a defender, you've got to have an idea of how that system works. You've got to stay disciplined. You've got to take the backside and force that play to stay predictable to the front side. And both those, even both the three-tech defensive end and also the blitzing linebacker, got sucked in trying to chase the running back from the backside when that quarterback is going right by him. So anyways, we've got a timeout here, 36 seconds remaining in the first half. It's extended first half because of the ambulance break, mate.
Yeah, so New South Wales, obviously the clock kept ticking because of the running play there and getting trapped in the field of play, so I had to call the timeout to stop the clock. And they desperately love to get 6, preferably 8, in this last 35 seconds. So an important play, maybe 2, if they're lucky.
And what's key here is we'll see how this defense, this will be a huge win for the Coyotes if they can get in here, just for morale. Firstly, it'll be the first touchdown of the tournament, and secondly, it's in the closing seconds of the half. And right now, I'm assuming Megan Wills possibly stepped up to start calling the defense for Queensland, because Lon Tulloch is obviously mother of Aroa. She's gone to the hospital with her there, and she was the primary defensive coordinator, and Megan Wills was operating with her, and I think Wills now might be calling some of those shots.
So New South Wales, after the timeout, making their way back out onto the field. Let's see what they've drawn up. Again with this 2-back formation.
Oh, look how wide B. Clement's going. Oh, the reverse!
Reverse for Sivia. And
She's
look
got
at there's the speed.
She's in!
Gets there! Well, we've talked about the speed of Mackenzie Sivia. We saw that reverse twice last night. It worked once, and it's worked here to a treat. And plenty of pace there, Mackenzie Sivia. New South Wales have their first touchdown of the evening. And the Australian champion gymnast.
Indeed. And the key thing there is the backside blocker not giving up. She understood the play was coming to her, and I think we might get a better view of it here. B. Clement, well, her responsibility there is now backside pursuit, but she gets edged out by, I think that's Losse, and creates the crease for Sylvia to take that out. A great job.
Fantastic camera work there as well.
60.
We look for the run here for Crisp. Crisp can't get across, flag on the play.
We got Crisp. She's struggling to get up.
Crisp has stayed down.
And we've got officials timeout here for the injury.
On the offense, penalties declined. Score is no good.
Oh. They failed the 2-point conversion, but mate, nonetheless, the Curdies get on the scoreboard for the first time in this tournament, and a fantastic reverse. You're right. They called that twice yesterday. Didn't have the success they just found on that play, but yeah, I'm going to give a shout out the 60 there. Rose lost there. I believe she really made that play. But also a good job for Silver to cut that up and not dance around and take that too wide. But is that Crisp still down?
Yeah, and she's a player that we've sort of been talking about a little bit. Crisp, she's sitting up now, so hoping that perhaps just had the wind knocked out of her there in that running play, and nothing too serious. We've had enough of that for one night. Because New South Wales have already lost a couple of running backs.
Yeah,
they can ill afford to lose another one.
Exactly right. She's going to walk it off.
We've got about 20 odd seconds left on in this first half, and the scoreline 28-6 in favour of Queensland over New South Wales.
Tackle made there by Brittany Todd. She came in. She said she wasn't exactly proud of her game yesterday, and she wanted to improve on her performance.
Yeah, I think there would be a few in the defence that would, from the Queensland side of things, that would know that their performance wasn't up to their high standards.
Exactly right. And well, they do say the cliche is defence wins championships. So in crunch down, you know, it seems the way it goes that whatever defense steps up, so they'll definitely want to fix that. However, the Coyotes have managed to penetrate said defense, and they've got in. As I said, that's going to be a huge morale boost, and even that sideline already got a couple of people dancing around, and probably just a bit of a weight off their shoulders, knowing that the monkey's off their back.
Rachel Carey down here on the sideline screaming at her teammates to come up a little bit closer for this kickoff, as they were back one line too far. New South Wales will get us back underway momentarily with Josephine Fidele. Kicks it low. Here's a chance. Oh.
It's a wrestle. It's going to be a wrestle.
Well, Queensland look in prime position to have the ball.
Not a whole lot of celebration from the Wolverines, so yep.
Come up with it. Kathleen Prothero. It is that comes up with the football.
Another one of these tall Queensland players out of the Griffith Uni Thunder. Does a good job there. I thought the ball might have slipped out toward her back there, which would have been a position for the Wolverines to get it, but she wraps it up. Good job, Kathleen.
So Queensland now. They've made a change at QB. Pitch to the outside. Moran. Moran beats one. Moran coming across to make the tackle. The 93, Jasmine Collins.
Yep, outback on outback. 28 seconds. Let's see how Queensland want to handle this. I don't think she might have been down. The clock's still running. Moran was down before she got out of bounds. And now we're going to see a timeout from, well, you didn't guess the full timeout signal, but I'm assuming it's the Queensland.
I think it would be Queensland in this situation.
New
South Wales certainly doesn't want to stop the clock.
Only gave us one hand, the referee usually.
It looks like Casey Cubis has come out for the last part of this second half.
Dane Robinson's wondering why there wasn't a clear timeout whistle. I kind of agree with him. We were a bit miffed as well. So right now I can imagine Dave Robinson saying, you know, don't undo our hard work on offense here. Stick it in there. Hold them out. And to be the team that scored last and then had technically a bit of a red zone stand here.
Well, again, it makes you
gives you something to work on as a coach, I'll tell you that.
It does make you question that kickoff, though, because it looked like that was something that they planned, the short option from the kickoff. probably not the best way to go.
No, it's all that. I'll kick it to some of those dynamic returners. So.
And well, Riley Hodgson. Oh, well, she's having an unhappy tournament, to be fair. That's another one she probably should have taken.
Mate, she reminded me there on some of my old Saturday nights. I think I got into the club and then boom, kicked out. In and out of there. Anyways, they were going back again. We've missed it.
Oh, touchdown Queensland. Cody Fuller. Another very good pass from Casey Cubis. Hits the mark. And Cody Fuller touches down, and an important one for Queensland. Really will take the wind out of the sails of the New South Wales Coyotes.
Unfortunately for her, I think we missed it. On live, we only caught the back end of it there, but it was a beautiful one. And
now it's with Cubis on the run to try and get that 2 yards, and again can't convert.
Good. So we using the speed to take it down, but Cody Fuller there finally reeling one in. She's had a couple of passes we saw earlier tonight. She had a touchdown go missing.
That'll be half time. I believe.
I haven't seen the ball raised. I think we might be seeing that now. Or not. But I think
all
it's
the
safe to
players
say.
coming off the field, so although the officials down here
Hang on.
are conversing about something. We're just waiting on a call here from the officials. In this game with Josephine Fidele. Just having a bit of trouble getting the ball on the tee.
If I remember correctly, Fidele is also a either current or ex-soccer player, which has helped contribute to her getting a lot of the kicking duties.
Again, hits it on the top of the ball and rolls in low.
There's
Picked up
Klukas.
by Klukas.
Look at her rumble and stumble up the field.
Madison Alina that comes up with the stop. I'm sure she'll love that description.
I'll hear about it in breakfast if she doesn't. And getting up there. Still, to me, it's still weird seeing her in a Jets helmet. I'm used to seeing her in the Sunny Coast orange.
Queensland, they're just about set.
Oh,
The run here from Queensland, looking to go up through the middle, some solid contact on Elizabeth Yulale. You said that she'd get some runs here in this second half, and New South Wales have got a player down. And some pretty quick concern from Kylie Bartley, was waving over to the sideline straight away.
see if we can spot it on the replay here. There's so many bodies in there that... There's a McAuliffe maybe on the left side there that's gone down.
G'day ladies and gentlemen, welcome back, and you see the teams out there shaking hands now with the stop-start nature of this contest. Another long delay and another injury. They've decided to call this one off with Queensland in front 34 points to 6 in the third quarter. So it is Queensland winning the game, and once the injured New South Wales player, who we still haven't been able to confirm exactly who that is, but once she's able to get off the field, once into the ambulance and off to the hospital, then we'll get into the second game.
Yeah, well, just when we thought it was the worst of it there with Arha Atolik, and we do apologise. I was trying to source the name out on the couple players, but surprisingly very few saw on the sideline. Saw it was from our commentary sideline, but we're getting someone to suss that out officially now. But yeah, they both the coaches agreed that with the stoppages and whatnot, it's just dangerous to continue because their players are getting cold on the sideline. The Queensland have already reached the maximum 35 points they could be offensively rewarded with for the latter as well. So there's very few reasons why they should have continued, provided both teams felt the same way. 53.
So it is Madison Helene, eh?
You were right. Down. So
That's got the injury. So yeah, so it will be the WA Raiders and the Victoria Eagles in the second game tonight. We've got no clear time frame as to how long this is going to take before we can. Obviously they've got to take all the necessary precautions for Madison's welfare.
We did get the official word that there were at least another 20 minutes from full assessment. So it looks like the next start will probably be closer to 7:30 Western time.
So we will wrap up this stream here, and if you want to continue watching, then you can jump over to the other stream for the WA Raiders and the Victoria Eagles. We'll bring you that one as soon as it starts. Until then, we'll see you then. Bye.